That's amazing, man. Generally speaking, there is no better time in history to be an engineer or IT or tech background person than it is today. Because
Yeah,
for the first time, we have seen that if this coronavirus shutdown had happened even about 10 years ago, things would have gone so bad that the world would not have recovered at all. It's only because of what the technology advancement has happened in the last 10 years that pretty much most of the work, especially what we call high value work, hasn't stopped. Whether that means university research or classes, to making the Zoom and making all these technology products that we're using working, the internet stays working. And that's a very different thing about today's world than it was if this shutdown had happened at any other stage in life. Which also means that when we get back to working after the shutdown gets over, these human behavior traits that are built are gonna stay forever. Now this is like and engineers just lucked out now, because now for the next 10, 20 years, whatever you guys are going to be operating, building your products, engineering products, tech products are going to be the most in demand.
surely that's what we are aiming for actually right now. Just to look at the market and realize what lacks in the quarantine period. There are certain things that are needed, in order to have more communication, basically. So there are many teams that are working on things.
Lovely. So I'll just begin
Yeah,
and
sure.
what we're going to share today. Hey guys, formally, very good afternoon. It's roughly about, I think, 3:10 p.m. Most of you guys where you are. It's about 8:30 here. No, 7:40 here. Anyway, so I am going to, a lot of you who have not been seeing me on Instagram or YouTube, I'll just share what I do. I am based in Australia here in Melbourne, and it's been about 3 years here. Before that, 7 years was in Singapore. So last 10 years, the entire decade of 2010 to 2020, I have studied at National University of Singapore, engineering and a few other things, and worked in smart cities, all using technologies to make cities smarter, and of course having my own startups in the space as well of using internet and technology for education mostly, uh, for coaching and stuff like that. I will share a couple of screenshots just to show you guys how does it look like. So I was trying to get, oh yeah, I can. Right,
Yeah,
this is what most people know me from, who are following me for the last 2 3 years on the internet, that I take my laptop and I try to make a lifestyle, what is called a digital nomad lifestyle, which is that you work from anywhere in the world. The idea is not to travel the world, but the idea is to be location independent. That's what mostly what is known for. But what is the second thing which I do, which is a more serious thing, which is usually under the cover, but it's a higher stakes thing, is that I train organizations, and these are usually high profile organizations. These are Singapore government, other governments in ASEAN and Middle East, where I tell them how they can use technology to make their systems faster, make their students or education systems more tech entrepreneurship savvy, so that they can use technology for their development. And that can be in AI, that can be in Industry Revolution 4.0, that is also in smart cities, digital economy, digital healthcare, and all that stuff. So this is pretty much what I do, especially for the last 3 years. It's training these organizations. And I'll just come back to us now. I think I'm back. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do if you've not been following me. But today's topic, what we're going to discuss is that we're going to talk a lot about what are some of the mindsets that once you go in your journey, and when I say in your journey, I'm looking at the entire decade of 2020, 2030. That's pretty much what we're going to talk about. Like, what are some of the mindsets that you can develop today that are then going to help you like 10x, 100x later in your life? And then we're also going to talk about a couple of productivity, let's say, hacks or strategies that I use and you can use as well for better team management as well as for your individual progress. Uh, and we'll jump around between Hindi and English. जैसे भी language चल रही, there's no barrier to language. I usually, about the serious stuff, I usually think in English. So I'll see how I can translate. तो पहला हमारे पास जो बड़ा mindset hack है, that is what I call that 300% or nothing. And it is very important to know how it works. You'll see that whenever you are choosing any project, or you are working for anyone, or you are going to do anything of your own, whether that's on the internet or physically, most people, of course, they won't even give their 100%, right? And it's like a thing where you should be giving your 100%, 100%. So that 100% you're giving it, which is like you basically do everything that is required from you. That's the 100% level. The task description of your job or your project or your thesis, it says this, you do that. That's like what I call 100% level. Then you get to the 200% level, which is that you do pretty much more than everybody else who is doing the same task. So everybody is doing the task at 100% level and you're doing more than that. You're basically performing, let's say, like the top 1%. And that will also take you, let's say, if you're into a job or if you're into a business or anything, that will make sure that you're progressing faster than your peers. That's a 200% level. 100% is expected of you. 200% is that जब आपकी तरक्की किसी भी चीज के अंदर बाकी सब लोगों से ज्यादा होती है, and you basically start seeing in a few years time that आपका और बाकियों का लेवल में फर्क आता रहता है. But if you develop this one small mindset, which is the 300% mindset, it will completely change your game. आपको उठा के किसी और ट्रैक पे रख देगी, फिर आप उस कंपटीशन से निकल जाते हो. और वो 300% लेवल ये होता है कि जो भी प्रोजेक्ट, टास्क, जॉब, थीसिस जो भी कर रहे हैं, how 200% is how to do better than everybody, and 300% is what else you can do that is not required from you. And that is where the game changes, where it is like ठीक है ये आपकी job task है, वो की बाकियों से बेहतर की, but उसके बाद what is the additional value you can give or additional thing you can do that is, let's say, not even required from you. So इसके अंदर जैसे कि let's say अगर हमें मुझे है कि मुझे कहीं जाके ट्रेनिंग देनी है किसी कंट्री के अंदर, and मैंने अपना प्रिपेयर किया and I'll make sure the training is काफी अच्छी है and as best as they have ever experienced. Then what I'll do is that I will start thinking what else I can do. And for one of the ideas I do is that I start taking them for social dinners. So 5 दिन की training है, Monday to Friday, they are paying you from 9 से 5 बजे आपने इन लोगों को train करना है. 8 बजे आप उनको एक select group को पकड़ के 4-5 को आप dinner पे ले जाते हो and you pay upfront for the dinner. That's your investment. But because now they're in the informal setting, they are now opening up to you more about their psychology. They're not interacting with you as students anymore. They're opening up about their psychology. They're telling you about how the things work, and they're again in the non-official capacity as well. That kind of thing helps me build relationships, then start a snowball effect. So let's say मैंने वियतनाम के अंदर एक इसी तरह की पिछले साल एक टॉक दी थी, ट्रेनिंग दी थी. उसमें से फिर one of the women, she left that organization and she joined Asia Pacific Economic Forum, APEC. And once she joined APEC decided कि हमने ये पूरे एशिया और ऑस्ट्रेलिया के कंट्रीज की एक बड़ी वुमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के ऊपर एक बड़ी कॉन्फ्रेंस करनी है. And because that woman I had in a group had developed extra relationship, added more value on the side, and where I, let's say, helped her on the unofficial capacity, then I got an invite to go to that APEC conference because now that woman knows me on a more personal level than the official level. And hence that turned out to be another snowball effect. I try to do a lot of the same things in my life, whether that's Instagram, whether that's YouTube. Like, for example, just to give you an example, these days, if you go to YouTube, you will see that my youtube.com/Waqas Hassn, I have a full course, 12-lesson course called Personal Branding. It's a full course on how you develop your personal brand and monetize it. Now, the similar thing, if you Google wherever you're sitting, how to develop a personal brand, you will see that there are tons of courses that will pop up. $50 से लेके $200, $250, $500 के courses होंगे. So I was thinking how to, first, okay, give it free. Okay, that's like, give the best course free, 100%, do it better than the other 200%. What else I can do? Then I started putting up worksheets under my course, so people actually download those worksheets and do this extra bit of work that helps them to develop that brand. And you'll pretty much find that none of the YouTube channels or YouTube videos, because the psychology behind YouTube is what you basically have to upload volume game. You upload a lot of things, so the views are. That is a game of where you are chasing attention. Instead of that, if as a 300% mindset, you just want to add value in other people's life, whatever project you're doing. So what I did, I started giving them proper worksheets. So 12 lessons है, नीचे 12 worksheets हैं, तो वो download करते हैं. अगर वो complete कर ले उससे, of course a lot of people send it back to me for review, and I can't review all of them, but I still look it up as much as I can, because these guys, these people, let's say this 100 people, and it will end up in the next year or so, end up developing their personal brands because of the material they've used. They've saved a lot of money, they've used the material, and then they become, let's say, what we call fans for life. Like, okay, so much value have gotten. Now, sometime into the future, which we can never predict, they will either have some work to do with me, they will probably be big enough, and I will have some opportunity to have some collaboration with them, and so on and so forth. And that will have a huge snowball effect. So whatever you're doing in your stage, and right now is the time that you can do, because the stakes are not that high, especially I'm guessing most of you are, as he said, in 17 plus years or early 20s. Just think of the thing that what are the few things you can do where you can give your 300%. And always think from that perspective. I'm going to do the best job in the world, and then I'm going to think what is the value the other person is not expecting from me. And once you give that value, it will take the other person by surprise. That could be your professor as well, who is here, that whatever task he is assigned to you, just do that task, do the best he's ever seen for his other students, and then do something extra on top of that. And that him as your professor will be like 5 years later, you can always email him, call him, and he'll be there for you. Same thing happens with me. I still, like, I went to NUS last year, National University of Singapore, and met my professor, and the same professor I graduated in 2014, and he was like, you have to give talk to my students. So that, like, relationships go for life when you have this 300% mindset going on with and you don't have to be like the A plus or A student to have this solid relationship. You just have to do more than what is expected in one aspect. That's our first mindset. I still do that everything. I do very few things, very few projects at a time. So my Instagram and YouTube did not have a lot of videos going on, a lot of content. I'm not playing that game at all. I am playing a game of value, because game of value stays for decades. It's not a thing where you're chasing virality. So always remember what you're doing. Even if you're developing content for your publicity of the work that you're doing, make sure that आप उसके ऊपर गेम ऑफ वैल्यू खेल रहे हो, गेम ऑफ वायरलिटी नहीं खेल रहे. Number two, we're going to talk about how do you find the idea. So there's a mindset about, especially in entrepreneurs, and I had studied a lot of entrepreneurship courses back in my university days as well. And they used to teach me as well that आप market में gap identify करते हो, and then you go in and solve that problem. Actually ऐसे नहीं चलता. ये वाला जो strategy है, ये strategy एक तो initially chalegi bhi nahi, but even if you, let's say, become lucky and then you actually find a right gap and right product, and then you will burn out within 3 to 6 months. And I'll tell you an example. आजकल biodegradable materials का बहुत ज़्यादा है कि जी, green movement, recyclable plastic, सारा plastic खत्म होना चाहिए, सारे plastic bags, straws, glasses, cups, take away, lunch boxes, everything should be biodegradable. Fine, I agree. That's a huge market opportunity, multi-billion-dollar market opportunity, probably $1 trillion market opportunity there. अब आप एक biodegradable product बना लेते हो, and you start doing it. The problem will happen that you yourself are not a climate enthusiast all your life. You are not someone who, in your free time, reading about sustainability, green energy, climate change, and all that stuff. What I'm trying to say, this is not your core belief. This is not what you as a human being are. Some of you in here who might actually be that, this is for you. So the point here is that you actually first internally see in the matrix form what are your interests and what you're good at. सो ये कम इंटरेस्ट, ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट, बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरेस्ट, सारी चीज़ों में नॉट गुड, थोड़ा अच्छा, बहुत अच्छा, एंड यू मेक अ मैट्रिक्स एंड देन यू एक्चुअली सी कि किन किन चीज़ों में मुझे इंटरेस्ट है, किन किन चीज़ों में मैं अच्छा हूँ. जब ये एक आ जाता है सेगमेंट, फिर आप इस सेगमेंट में फिर आप देखते हैं कि व्हाट आर द प्रॉब्लम्स दैट एग्जिस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड, दैट द गैप दैट आई नीड टू फिल. अब इसके अंदर लेट्स से आ जाता है social gaming. Maybe you are a really good gamer and you have a lot of interest in gaming, you understand Call of Duties and Fortnites and PUBG and जो कुछ भी आज चला हुआ है, and then you have a gaming startup or a product with a gaming, because for that you won't even have to do this conventional brainstorming session. You will just know, because this is what you're doing every day. You will know how to make it better, or you will know what additional thing you want that already does not exist. So similarly, coming back to that previous example, that if you are someone who is actually climate conscious, that who is always recycling their products, and I hope all of you are. I mean, I anyways not want to say that it's not right. I'm big on the climate change and the sustainability part myself. But let's say if you are someone who's like very conscious about it, you read, you follow the influencers, Greta Thunberg and all those people who are actually into climate change. This is core part of you. And then you see, as an engineering background, what can I do for sustainability products or sustainability awareness campaigns, or for that matter, whatever that is. Similarly, let's say you are interested in video making, or for a while that you're good at that, then you can I make a next social platform for maybe or how I can make something like Snapchat वगैरह आया, ये ज़ूम आया, ये जो फाउंडर है उसने अपनी गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ चैट करने के लिए, क्योंकि चाइना में था, एक अमेरिका में, समथिंग लाइक दैट, बेटर प्रोडक्ट बनाना था व्हिच इज़ ईज़ी टू यूज़, चलो ज़ूम बन गया. स्नैपचैट की क्या स्टोरी है, यही करना था कि टेक्स्टिंग करनी थी, दैट कैन डिसअपीयर. So every great product in the world, every tech engineering product gets created because founders have a genuine interest in them. They're the users of that. They're the customers of that. They do that in their free time. And then they think that from the skills we have developed, how can we uh, innovate or solve the problem? सो बड़ा ये ज़रूरी है कि आप कोई ऐसा काम ना करें जिसके अंदर आपको जेन्युइनली इंटरेस्ट नहीं है, क्योंकि वो फिर खराब हो जाएगा. You will burn, you will never be creative, this is not your reality. I think, so for example, I am a lot into these trainings, and I've been doing physical trainings for like 3 years now. And I've been doing a lot of digital trainings. That's my startup as well, Australia Yours, where I give a lot of digital trainings of people who are either migrating to Australia or migrating to Australia as students, or then they want to get their jobs, improve their speaking skills, CV, and so on and so forth. So I've been in this industry for a while, that now the bigger ideas that I'm thinking about, let's say an educational app, or making world-class education free for all the underdeveloped countries, or underprivileged people who can't pay their fees, then it's because I'm thinking of using engineering and technology and targeting this field, because I've been in there and this is like my default mode. It's not like यार ये बड़ी एक opportunity है, बस इसमें product बना लेते हैं. So be very sure that whatever you're gonna do, it is coming from a very deep place within you, which is a combination of interest and skills, and then you target the problem. Lesson 4 on my YouTube series has that worksheet as well, where you can download this thing about plotting your stuff and then finding what you're good at and plotting it, blah, blah, blah. That's our second one. And one more we are going to talk about, that's going to be one of the most interesting. And this is what I call the fear of certainty. This is the third mindset. You have heard of fear of uncertainty? That if the results are not already established, if the results are uncertain, if you don't know how the path is going to be, a lot of people get scared. So then they want some kind of security, let's say job security. एक सर्टेन पे तो आनी चाहिए, या पार्ट टाइम काम करके कुछ बेस तो होनी चाहिए, या वो अपने पेरेंट्स के साथ रह रहे हैं ताकि शेल्टर तो रहे. That's those are the, it's like the fear of uncertainty होती है आपको, that and you only work best, be most productive, most creative जब आपका fear of uncertainty control होता है. But then there is another league of people who are the people who are fear of certainty, who have a fear of certainty. And a fear of certainty is that once you're told कि अगले 5 साल में अगर ये करोगे तो ये returns आएंगे क्योंकि बाकी सबके भी ये returns आए थे, that's what scares you. And this is probably the right platform to talk about it, because I realized I'm going to be an entrepreneur when in 2012 I was doing a leadership internship, बड़ी prestigious internship थी, यूनिलीवर सिंगापुर में, एशिया का हेडक्वार्टर था. ये बड़ी मुश्किल से मिली, कोई 15 लोग सेलेक्ट हुए 1500 के अंदर से सिंगापुर यूनिवर्सिटीज के अंदर से. बहुत बड़ा जी रिमार्केबल बात है कि आप यूनिलीवर में इंटर्नशिप कर रहे हो एंड यू दिस लीडरशिप इंटर्न, उसके बाद मैनेजमेंट ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम ऑफर होता है एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. मैं वहां पे था एंड आई सॉ माय मैनेजर 5 years ahead of me doing some work every day. Then I saw 7 years ahead of me some vice president. Then I saw 10 years ahead of me senior vice president. And I'm like, this is a certain path laid for me, already given. मैं internship में अच्छा करूंगा, मुझे management training मिलेगा, फिर मैं इसकी जगह आऊंगा 5 साल में, 7 साल में, 9 साल में, 10 साल में. And because it was a certain path laid, that I was so scared of that. Oh shit, मैं ये path follow करने वाला हूँ कि मैंने 3 महीने की internship थी तो 2 महीने 3 हफ्ते बाद वो internship छोड़ दी, अपना फाइनल सेरेमनी के लिए भी नहीं गया, तो काफी मतलब गलत चीज की. बट इतना ज्यादा, because I started feeling afraid of even stepping in the office. I was so fearful of the certainty. So if you find yourself someone like that, who's like you, when you're told that this is going to be the trodden path, and like from the deep place of you start feeling fearful, that is an indication that you are never going to be satisfied in a certain path, and you'll have to choose an uncertainty for you to become, which is the life of every entrepreneur ever. There is not a successful entrepreneur who has not gone through many years of uncertain period in his or her life. So not having fear of uncertainty is not good enough. Okay, you can, आप कहो कि यार नहीं मुझे uncertainty से डर नहीं लगता, मैं entrepreneur बनूंगा. But it's not good enough, because आपने भी जिंदगी में इतनी ज्यादा uncertainty देखी नहीं है कि पता चले कि डर लगता है कि नहीं. So knowing the fact कि मैं 3 साल अनसर्टन रह सकता हूँ, पता नहीं खाना कहाँ से मिलेगा, ये वो आप अपने आप को कहते हो. बट जब वो 3 महीने भी गुजरते हैं उस तरह कि आपको अगले पे चेक का नहीं पता होता है पैसे कहाँ से आने हैं, तो आपको फौरन वहीं से आपका डर आता है. डर की वजह से प्रोडक्टिविटी जाएगी, रिस्क टेकिंग एबिलिटी जाएगी, क्रिएटिविटी जाएगी, एंड यू विल बेसिकली बिकम फेल. And for you guys, for actually even people of like I'm 30, people who are even in their 30s, they don't know if they have fear of uncertainty or not, because वो इतनी extended period के लिए uncertainty बहुत लोग try नहीं करते अपनी जिंदगी में जो सालों रहे. So the only way to know whether you are a hardcore entrepreneur or not is to find out whether you have a fear of certainty. Is when you feel like everything is laid for you, you are secure. चलो ये भी ठीक था. Good break in there. नुसरत फतेह अली खान साहब को
I have
भी
to
आपने दावत दी.
cancel that. That was somebody, I don't know who was that.
I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah, it's fine. होता रहता है. So yeah. So the only thing that you will be able to know that whether you're a hardcore entrepreneur or not is that you actually have a fear of certainty and you thrive in uncertainty. You feel good in uncertainty. And the best way to grow is this time that we are. So we are in a time where economic shutdown has happened around the world. Even mine business, like business have gone 80% down. Like कोई लोग consumer spending खत्म हो गई है, कुछ भी नहीं चल रहा. Airlines 95% कम हो गई हैं. मेरी पूरी 2020 की जो physical talks है, जो मैं आपको पहले तस्वीर दिखाई थी, वो पूरे साल का कैलेंडर खाली हो गया है. Like $20,000-30,000 का आपकी जो रनवे बनी होती है, वो सारी आपको 1 साल के लिए खत्म हो गई है. पता नहीं 2021 में कब आएगा, कैसे आएगा, बट मजा आ रहा है. That's the thing. Like this uncertain period, मजा आ रहा है. मतलब है, शुक्र है, थोड़ा 3 साल कर ही रहे थे ना, अब नहीं करेंगे तो कुछ और कर लेते हैं. अनसर्टेनिटी है, हैप्पीनेस है. देयर इज कोई पता नहीं है कि कितना रेवेन्यू रहेगा 2020 के अंदर, लेकिन ठीक है, कोई नहीं. अभी आप what you can do for fun. So I'm doing all the things I'm having fun with, because इसके अंदर अगर so similarly if you're experiencing the same thing, पता नहीं यूनिवर्सिटी बंद हुई है, पता नहीं कि ग्रेजुएशन के बाद जॉब्स कैसे मिलेंगी, या अगर अभी आप हाई स्कूल में और ग्रेजुएट होने वाले हो, फॉल के एडमिशंस खत्म हो गए हैं, यूनिवर्सिटी के टेस्ट सेंटर्स बंद हो गए हैं, so on and so forth. If this is not scaring you, if this uncertain period is like यार मजा आ रहा है, ये तो अच्छा टाइम है, इसके अंदर तो बड़ी डिफरेंट दुनिया चल रही है, क्या हर चीज एक ही तरह चल रही थी, रैट रेस लगी हुई थी. It's like when you start enjoying this time, you are hardcore wired to enjoy the uncertainty. And if you're enjoying the uncertainty, I can give you in writing today, betting $100 right here, 58 people at the moment in this talk, I am betting right here that you will be a successful entrepreneur within the short to near term, which is let's say 3 to 5 years time. That if you're enjoying today, because this you love, and entrepreneur's life is all about loving the uncertainty. एंड इसलिए तो ये ग्रोथ होती है कंपनीज के अंदर कि जैसे ही बड़े बड़े आपका स्टार्टअप थोड़ा सक्सेसफुल हो जाता है, लेट्स से $1 मिलियन की वैल्यूएशन हो गई है, तो वो ऐसे नहीं करते कि यार चलो फाइनली मेड इट सक्सेसफुल, यस, नहीं, वो जो फाउंडर्स होते हैं उनको वही चीज बुरी लगने लग जाती है, शिट ये तो सर्टेन हो गया कि अब तो हम $1 मिलियन का स्टार्टअप, अब वो दोबारा they do some new projects, they innovate because they want to step back into the uncertainty, and they still get in that high and highly analytical processing problem solving mode. फिर उसको 100 मिलियन का स्टार्टअप बनाना है, फिर $1 बिलियन का स्टार्टअप बनाना है, so on and so forth. तो यही लाइफ है. उसके अंदर अगर ये माइंडसेट है कि अभी बड़ी मेहनत कर लें ताकि 2-3 साल के बाद सुकून हो जाए, बड़े पैसे आ जाएं, तो आप एंटरप्रेन्योर हो ही नहीं, क्योंकि एज एन एंटरप्रेन्योर यू विल ऑलवेज बी थ्राइविंग फॉर दैट uncertainty and chasing the next state. So those are 3 mindsets: 300% or nothing. Choose what you love and skillful at, and then problem solve in that. Do not just first find what the world needs and then try to get into that if you're not already that person for the last many years. And fear of certainty is what you're fearful of, and you love the uncertainty. You want to stay in that state for many years or so. So that we'll end that here, our mindsets. And then I'm going to just talk about 2 productivity hacks. The first one I'm going to talk about is the team productivity hack, that because a lot of you will be working with each other. And I hire a lot from internationally as well, through my audience usually for my work. And I also have worked in startups teams, and the stocks career that I gave is also operates in a team. And all through this experience, I have, at the end of the day, ended up realizing just this one thing, that actual skill set matter ही नहीं करता. The actual skill set जो होता है, किसी एक बंदा बड़ा अच्छा वीडियोग्राफर है, उसको तब सब कुछ आता है वीडियो एडिटिंग के बारे में, वो मैटर ही नहीं करता. वो आपको फाइवर में $5 का बेहतरीन मिल जाएगा. सिमिलरली कोई आपको बहुत अच्छा वर्डप्रेस वाला बनाने वाला है, तो ये जो एक्चुअल हार्डकोर स्किल्स होते हैं ये मैटर नहीं करते. मैटर क्या करता है? 3 चीजें होती हैं इंसान में. रॉ इंटेलिजेंस होती है, कमाल का वर्क एथिक डिसिप्लिन होता है, और थिंकिंग बिग एंड स्ट्रेटेजिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है. ये तीनों चीजें लाइफ के साथ साथ डेवलप होती रहती हैं. ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी नहीं है तो आगे भी नहीं होंगी, बट एट एनी स्टेज इन टाइम you will find people, you can see people in either of these 3 things. They can think really big and strategically, very smart in their thinking. They have raw intelligence. कोई भी चीज सीखनी है, कोई भी चीज बनानी है, अच्छा वेबसाइट बनानी नहीं आती, कोई नहीं, वीकेंड पे वर्डप्रेस की क्लास ली, मंडे को कमाल वेबसाइट बना दी, बिकॉज रॉ इंटेलिजेंस है. कोडिंग नहीं आती, यूडेमी पे, कोर्सेरा पे पूरा पाइथन का जेक्वेरी का कोर्स किया, अगले हफ्ते कोडिंग आ गई. By the way, just a fun fact, Dustin Moskowitz, जो Facebook का फाउंडर है, मार्क ज़करबर्ग के साथ, hostel mate was not a coder. Mark Zuckerberg started it. Mark Zuckerberg was like, मुझे एक और प्रोग्रामर चाहिए. Dustin ने over the weekend programming सीखी और Facebook का IT के अंदर जाके कोडिंग करना शुरू हो गया. This is like the early 4 guys of Facebook, because raw intelligence बहुत ज़्यादा है. So raw intelligence उन लोगों में होती है, इनको कोई भी problem दो, they can quickly solve it, they can quickly learn a skill, and they can do a pretty good job. And then there's a work ethic. Some people, you will realize that they will just try to escape from the work, and others will be like, they will be 8-9 घंटे काम करके भी बड़ी जान है, मतलब और करना है काम, and कमाल discipline है. Whenever you will have one of these 3 things, especially the first 2, raw intelligence or work ethic, you will be a great employee, because employees को यही चाहिए होता है. या आप देखोगे किसी भी कंपनी के अंदर, मैंने 3 साल जॉब की थी और इंटर्नशिप भी अगर मिला लो उससे पहले, कि जिन लोगों में बड़ी अच्छी इंटेलिजेंस थी वो भी अच्छा कमा रहे थे, बिकॉज जो उनको काम मिलता जाता है और वो कमाल का काम करते रहते हैं, चाहे वो छुप छुप के दिन में 3-4 घंटे काम करते हैं लेकिन बड़ा अच्छा प्रोड्यूस करते हैं. एंड देन देयर इज पीपल हु हैव अमेजिंग वर्क एथिक, कि ठीक है वो इतने स्मार्ट नहीं है बट वो जिस करते रहते, दे कीप डूइंग इट 8-10 hours a day, they are spending overtime at job and they will end up doing it pretty well. But then these are you, if you have one of these three, you can become pretty good employee as well. But to become an entrepreneur, you need to be good in a combination of any two of these, and people you're going to partner with should be good in any two of these, but those two should be different from you. So I like the minimum requirement for a team is 2 people, right? So the great team is raw intelligent thinking big teams up with raw intelligence and work ethic, or raw intelligent thinking big teams up with thinking big and work ethic, either or combination. And if there are 3 people, then any other combination. Because if you are teaming up with someone who is just as one, if you have more than one, you will be operating at a very different scale than the other person. And if you are someone who has all 3, then you're anyways going to be Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg. So you are in a completely different league, because those are the people at the top who have tremendous work ethics. They can work for 40-48 hours straight. They are sharpest in their mind when it comes to raw intelligence, and they are thinking at the $1 billion scale. If you have all 3, if you're like that kind of person, and if you're about 17, 18, 20 years old, by now you realize, if you have all 3 or not. I don't have all 3. I don't know anyone who has all 3 in my circle, because all 3 is like, you are by the age of 12, 13, 14, you're already operating at a very different scale. And you find these stories of quite amazing people. So a more realistic scenario is that what are the 2 things you have and you want to develop that is more natural to your personality, and then you team up with people who have a complementary 2 things. There are. So the best combination is honestly a raw intelligence and work ethic. If you have that, you are sharp, you are very analytical, and you are able to have a very good work ethic, and you team up with someone, let's say, who is able to think up pretty big as well and has amazing work ethic as well. So of course, that if they're 3-member team, one has the first 2, one has 2 and 3, one has 1 and 3, it's like a bomb. That team is gonna kill through every obstacle. So when you're choosing your team and partnering with someone, do understand that skills are cheap, skills are easy. No skill is in today's world that is not available on Upwork, Fiverr, or anyone to even hire for 20,000 rupees salary. Skills are there. You're looking for your self analysis and for other people, just measuring them on raw intelligence, their work ethics, and their thinking big and strategic ability. And that will take you long in your life. You will have fun doing something. You guys will be thinking big. You guys will be quite sharp, and then the ideal team will get formed, which then becomes really, really successful. So that was our how to find a team, and that's how I do everything in my own life as well. When I'm partnering with someone, it's these 2, and if I'm hiring someone, he or she should be just pretty good in one of these 3 things, especially raw intelligence or work ethic. That's either or. And lastly, I'm just going to tell about the individual productivity hack that I use, and that is after again being a personal development person last 10-15 years, productivity has been something that I have experimented a lot with, still continues to do. And for the last 2-3 years, I think the best strategy that is working is called Pomodoro technique. And in Pomodoro technique, there is a timer, which is a very scientifically based technique, knowing the fact that humans can only operate at their best for 25 minutes at a stretch, and then they have to take a break. So Pomodoro is a timer that you can download as an extension on your Google Chrome, on your Safari, on your Mac, on your Windows. कहीं पे भी मेरा Mac पे ऊपर बार में डाउनलोड हुआ होता है. जैसे ही काम करने बैठा, पोमोडोरो स्टार्ट किया, 25 मिनट का टाइमर है. वो 25 मिनट आपने जिंदगी के सारी डिस्ट्रैक्शंस खत्म. मोबाइल एयरप्लेन पे, ना सिर्फ साइलेंट पे बल्कि एयरप्लेन पे गया. सारे कोई किसी की बात नहीं हो रही, कुछ नहीं हो रहा. That 25 minute is the only work time. वो जो 25 ओवर होता है, you can take 5 minutes break, 10 minutes break, 15 minutes break, jitna marzi. The goal is ek din mein 10 pomodoros complete karne hote hain. That's it. That's 250 minutes. That is 4 hours, right? Yeah, 240 minutes and 10 minutes on 4 hours, 10 minutes roughly. That's it. Basically आपने एक दिन के अंदर, and you will think, you'll first you have mindset, यार ये लोग 16 घंटे कैसे काम करते हैं, 18 घंटे कैसे काम करते हैं, मैंने 16 घंटे मैंने अपनी पूरी जिंदगी लगा दी है यही कुछ करने के अंदर कि मैंने अपने आप को 16 घंटे काम करवाया, 14 घंटे करवाया, just to chase the actual number of hours. And I am telling you, I have not produced more value and earned most than ever in my life, if I can just work for 4 to 5 great hours rather than trying to stretch myself for 16. But and there's a lot of books on that. There's Cal Newport, a book called Deep Work. It's an amazing book. And you will see that in your life, that at the end of the day, if you can have these amazing 4 hours in a day, that will destroy anyone's lethargic 16 hours of work output. So and it will make you feel good, because most of the days you won't be able to complete 10 pomodoros, and that you'll realize, because these pomodoros are not like a timer start kar liya or Facebook khula hua hai. These are like literal work, actual work. And when you are able to complete, let's say hafte mein se 2-3 din bhi complete hua hai, you'll realize that after this 10 pomodoros, 10-25 minute sessions that you have given, you've timed, you will feel so good, and you are then allowed to have all kinds of guilty pleasures, watch anything you want to, eat a lot of ice cream while watching something that you want to, whatever that is, because now you have earned yourself that thing. And if you actually, and I've, because a lot of my readers and my viewers have done this thing, and they have written back to me in DMs or emails, that even if you do it for 1 week, 10 pomodoros a day, you'll be like, I have produced more work, I have thought more, I've done more and amazing things in this 1 week than I'd done like many months before that. It's that powerful. It's so powerful that you can only understand it once you do it, because 25 minute ke 10 solid sessions is all that you need. And then they start accumulating over a month, over 6 months, over a year, over 2 years. We overestimate how much we can do in a short period of time. जोश चढ़ा हुआ है, अभी पता नहीं सब कुछ कर देते हैं आज ही. And we underestimate how much we can do if we stay consistent over a long period of time. Because if you stay consistent in something, let's say 10 pomodoros for a year, and focusing on one project, you will remember that year for the rest of your life, for the things that you've been able to achieve in that year. Most of the times we don't. And that's pretty much, that turns out to be the difference in the long run between people who have done a lot and people who are just like figuring out in their 30 यार क्या करें, अभी तो मतलब 30 के हो गए, हाँ आधी से ज़्यादा ज़िंदगी गुजर गई है, अब क्या करें, वैसे वाले ज़्यादातर लोग वैसे हो जाते हैं 30s पे जाके. So that's our hardcore individual working productivity hack that I personally use, and I've tried a lot of things. Pomodoro technique, 25 minutes timer. Easiest is कि alarm clock लगा लो, लेकिन mobile has to be airplane and everything has to be cut off. So just to recap the productivity, skills are cheap and easy in today's world. It's the raw intelligence, work ethic, and thinking big and strategic quality that you're looking for yourself, to develop in yourself, and choosing in other people to team up, because that team is going to be producing highest output, the team which has a good combination of these complementary two skills, two qualities. And for your individual productivity, whether you're operating as a team or individually as a team, your goal should be कि हमने as a team इकट्ठे बैठ के, जिधर भी हम बैठे हुए हैं, 10-25 मिनट के तबाह कुन सेशन लगाने हैं. That's your entire goal for the day. और एक हफ्ता ऐसे करोगे, you will have done more in that 1 week than you would have done in months before that. कभी कभी बंदे को जोश चढ़ता है तो वो 10 सेशन के बाद भी चलता रहता है कि बस आज तो मतलब इतना मजा आ रहा है कि रात 12 बजे तक चलते रहने. ठीक है, एंजॉय दैट. अगर मोड आ गया तो करते रहो. But the win, the satisfaction and the win happens once you complete 10 pomodoros, and it's a failure if you've not been able to do it. That's it, Abdul. That was from my side. Over to you and the people.
Amazing. We do have some questions lined up for you. Just a second. Azhar bhai, yes.
Yeah, hi Waqas bhai, this is Azhar here from
Hi,
Lord's College.
Azhar. Good to have you.
Yeah, I was just listening to you, and I'm like hell like motivated right now. बहुत जबरदस्त session आपका first of all. Second thing I wanted to ask you कि I've just started public speaking and all because I'm interested in thought sharing, motivational speaking. So I'm 20, just started, and a lot of people usually ask me, like most of them are my friends, कि कुछ तो लोग ऐसे होते हैं जो जिन्होंने फिगर आउट कर लिया होता है कि लाइफ में मुझे ये करना है, जैसे कि आप बता रहे थे, इफ यू हैव इंटरेस्ट इन गेमिंग, देन गो इन दैट डोमेन एंड यू विल फाइंड समथिंग लाइक यू विल बिकम एंड अप बिकमिंग समथिंग गुड. और जैसे आपका है, यू थॉट कि मुझे जो है ना डिजिटल नोमैड बनना चाहिए सो दैट आई शुड बी लोकेशन इंडिपेंडेंट. तो कुछ ये लोग होते हैं जिनके पास फिगर आउट होता है ऑलरेडी कि व्हाट दे नीड टू डू. व्हाट डू यू सजेस्ट या व्हाट ओपिनियन डू यू गिव टू सच पीपल जिनको लाइफ में कोई डायरेक्शन ही नहीं है, मतलब उनको पता ही नहीं है कि हमको क्या करना चाहिए क्या नहीं करना चाहिए, क्लूलेस है, डायरेक्शन नहीं है. व्हाट डू यू सजेस्ट फॉर सच पीपल?
यार मैं जब 20 का था ना या 18-19 का, तो मेरे डायरेक्शन थी लाइफ में कि मैंने अच्छी सी यूनिवर्सिटी में एडमिशन लेना है और इंटरनेशनल कहीं जाना है. जब मैं 23-24 का था, मेरा था कि मैंने क्राउड फंडिंग के अंदर दुनिया का बड़ा स्टार्टअप बनाना है. जब मैं 26-27 का था तो मेरा था कि मैंने डिजिटल नोमैड बनना है. द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से इज कि, और अभी जब मैं 30 का हूँ तो मेरे एजुकेशन के अंदर अपनी ज़ात से बड़ा कोई प्रोजेक्ट करना है. यानी अभी तो मेरे वो प्रोजेक्ट्स एजुकेशन में जो मुझे बहुत पे करते हैं और मैं बड़ा घूमता फिरता हूँ, लेकिन अब मुझे क्या करना है कि मुझे एक बड़े लेवल पे विद लॉट ऑफ पीपल एक बहुत बड़ा प्रोजेक्ट करना है एजुकेशन, डिजिटल एजुकेशन पे. So the point I'm trying to say is that over your lifetime, every 3-4 years, your figuring out your purpose in life will change. So the best thing you can do is at your 20, what you mentioned that मुझे बोलने का शौक है, public speaking का. At your 20, you have to go all in speaking, and if that means telling people how to speak better, sharing your journey of how I learned to speak better, how I learned to make videos better, how I developed fluency in English, how I structure my thoughts, how I use tonal patterns, how I use communication skills, how I use networking, how I do networking when I meet people. बिकॉज अभी ये लाइफ में बड़ी रियल चीज है आपकी कि आपको ये बनना है, ये अच्छा लगता है आपको, क्योंकि ये अभी अच्छा लगता है और इसको अगर आपने अभी ना लेट्स से यूटिलाइज किया तो ये 2 साल बाद शौक खत्म हो जाएगा. वैसे भी 2-3 साल बाद कुछ और दिल कर रहा होगा करने का, तो फिर आप कहोगे यार तो वो तो करोगे जो 2-3 साल बाद करेगा. लेकिन it's better that every 2-3 years of your life has a full product that has been that interest has been productized in a way, and in today's world, as you mentioned that you want to make a share with, you want to speak as well, you have a platform as well, just do it, put it out there. क्योंकि मुझे काफी चीजें करनी थी जो मैं नहीं कर सका 25 में, फिर जब मैं 27 का हो गया तो मेरा वो 25 में वो करने का दिल ही नहीं किया, फिर वो कभी की नहीं. सो ये बड़ा जरूरी है. नाउ दैट I feel that whatever you want to do at this stage in life, just do it all in, because फिर ये शौक खत्म हो जाएगा कुछ अरसे के बाद.
Sure, sir. Thank you so much, Waqas. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody would like to ask any questions? Can you please raise your hand?
And I'll just add to that, speaking skill, being in that zone for a while now. मेरी एक इस पे वीडियो भी थी कि एक इंजीनियर होता है, एक बोलने वाला इंजीनियर होता है, एक अकाउंटेंट होता है, एक बोलने वाला अकाउंटेंट होता है, एक प्रोग्रामर होता है, एक बोलने वाला प्रोग्रामर होता है. द पॉइंट इज के मैंने जो पिछले देखा है कि हर फील्ड के अंदर मेरे से बहुत ज्यादा स्मार्ट लोग होते हैं, बहुत ज्यादा एनालिटिकल होते हैं, लेकिन जस्ट बिकॉज आई एम एबल टू शेयर दैट इन अ वे दैट आई शेयर, तो मुझे, जैसे मेरी जॉब थी, मैं स्मार्ट सिटीज पे जॉब कर रहा था सिंगापुर में 2014-15 में, तो मेरे साथ और भी लोग कर रहे थे, लेकिन मैं अभी जाके दुनिया में टॉक्स दे रहा हूँ स्मार्ट सिटीज एंड हाउ टू यूज टेक्नोलॉजी, जस्ट बिकॉज मुझे उसके बाद शेयर करने का और एक सर्टन बोलने का शौक था उसके ऊपर. जो बाकी हैं वो नहीं कर रहे, वो अभी भी वही जॉब की सैलरी ले रहे हैं. सो पॉइंट इज कि आपको रियलाइज होगा लाइफ में कि वन ऑफ द मोस्ट एक्सपेंसिव स्किल्स इज स्पीकिंग स्किल्स, एंड विच विल ऑलवेज बी इन शॉर्ट सप्लाई. देयर विल नेवर बी इनफ पीपल who will love speaking publicly. It was true 100 years ago as well. वो डेल कार्नेगी की एक बुक है ना, How to Win Friends and Influence People. वो कोई 1940 में वो किताब लिखी गई थी, आज भी वो बेस्ट सेलर होती है किसी भी बुक स्टोर के अंदर या अमेज़न पे, क्योंकि तब भी लोगों को पब्लिक स्पीकिंग मुश्किल लगती थी, अभी भी लगती है, 10 साल बाद भी लगेगी. So if you
Wow.
develop that skill of speaking, and no matter whatever you're doing in life, चाहे कोई भी इंजीनियरिंग का प्रोजेक्ट कर रहे हो, कोई टेक्नोलॉजी का प्रोजेक्ट, उसके ऊपर जब आप उसको शेयर करने का एलिमेंट लगा दोगे एज अ स्पीकर, तो आपकी जो अर्निंग्स है वो that will be off the roof.
Thank you so much. That was really great advice. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so Waqas bhai, I would like you to talk with have a few words with my professor, if he allows, because you two
Sure.
are very enthusiastic and very motivating. The almost same type ke hai, to if hello sir.
So honored to be considered.
Hello Bakshi sir. Okay, Akram, we have a question from Akram. Nice. Akram. Unmute. Yes, Akram.
हेलो अस्सलाम वालेकुम.
वालेकुम अस्सलाम. Yes.
ओके, मैं ना आपके वीडियोस बहुत पहले से देख रहा था, आपको इंस्टाग्राम पे भी फॉलो कर रहा था मैं. So I've been really inspired from your videos.
So sweet, buddy. Thank you so much.
And yeah, I always thought that you would become a really good entrepreneur, and I was like I should follow you for some years and see where you are in life. And now ये पता नहीं coincidence है या क्या है, you are in my college giving a webinar. तो मेरा क्वेश्चन ये है कि I don't like working in teams. I like working alone. So what suggestion would you give me?
I would suggest, yes, please. One man entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs is the most thing that I am personally very invested as well myself, because I remember how I became a solo entrepreneur first. Again, I'm just gonna say it's not for everybody, because you need to especially if you're young, it might be slightly difficult, because over time काफी ज़्यादा skill set develop हो जाता है कि solo entrepreneur बना जाता है. But एक book है, वो book का था नाम 1% $1 million businesses. उसके अंदर कोई 8-10 case studies हैं, Amazon पे देखना 1% $1 million businesses. और उसके अंदर basically वो पूरा एक case with research एक case बनाया है कि it is for the first time in the world that we are looking at the highest growth rate in single person $1 million entrepreneurs. और वो सिर्फ उसके भी पूरा reason है कि why this is happening, because for the first time we have platforms like Fiverr and Upwork where a lot of things that we don't know we can outsource. For the first time we have technology in a way that we can scale up without putting in extra hours. So just give you an example. अभी ये मेरा जैसे webinar चल रहा है यहाँ पे, ठीक है, ये I'm physically invested in this 1 hour. But at the same time इस 1 घंटे के अंदर अगर मैंने let's say YouTube और Instagram पे आज ही कोई वीडियो डाली होती, तो इसी 1 घंटे के अंदर लेट्स से उसके अंदर कोई 1000 एक्स्ट्रा व्यूज आ जाते हैं, ठीक है, विच मीन्स के 1000 और लोग इसी 1 घंटे में आपकी जो भी आप बोलना चाह रहे हो उससे देख रहे हैं. इसके अलावा एक दिन के अंदर रफली minimizing this corona shutdown, usual month, let's say May last year exactly at this time, एक दिन के अंदर मेरे ब्लॉग के ऊपर आएंगे रफली 2 से 3 हजार लोग, वो पढ़ेंगे कुछ जो मैंने लिखा है. उसके बाद से उसमें से कुछ एक परसेंटेज होगी जो पढ़ के अपना ईमेल एड्रेस डालेगी, उसको एक ईमेल जाएगी, वो ईमेल जाएगी जिसके मतलब वो फिर फर्दर ईमेल पढ़ेंगे. मे बी उसके बाद उसमें से एक परसेंटेज होगी जो ये क्या कहते हैं पेमेंट देगी, then they will make their account, they will get a membership access, they will start studying from the course, they will start giving their own exams, whatever. The point is that 1 घंटे के अंदर आपकी पर्सनैलिटी 8-10 जगहों पे स्प्लिट हुई हुई है, और उसके अंदर चाहे ईमेल चल रही है, ऑटोमेटेड है, पेमेंट सिस्टम्स है, ऑटोमेटेड है, लोग आपकी मेंबरशिप्स अकाउंट्स बना रहे हैं, ऑटोमेटेड है, वो पढ़ रहे हैं, उनकी जिंदगी आगे जा रही है, ऑटोमेटेड है. ये अनप्रेसिडेंटेड था 10 साल पहले भी, इवन 5 साल पहले भी, कि आपकी मतलब इतना ज्यादा कुछ हो रहा है एक वक्त के अंदर, इतने ज्यादा सिस्टम्स चल रहे हैं एक साथ. ये जो सिस्टम्स चलाने की क्वालिटी है, ये जो एक चीज है, ये अभी आई है दुनिया के अंदर, और इसलिए सिंगल पर्सन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स की जो राइज है unprecedented. So what I'll advise you is to study and just build your understanding how the single person entrepreneurs, what are some of the business models for single person entrepreneur, how do they operate. Like for example, आपको काफी ज्यादा स्किल सेट सीखने हैं, ठीक है, आपको थोड़ा पता होना चाहिए वर्डप्रेस साइट कैसे मैनेज होती है, मेलचिम कैसे चल रहा होता है, पेमेंट सिस्टम्स कैसे चल रहे होते हैं, कॉपीराइट चल रही होती है, वीडियो एडिटिंग कैसे चलती है, स्किल्स कैसे हैं, और वैल्यू एक्चुअली चीज में आप बनाओगे, अपना वैल्यू जो आपका मेन प्रोडक्ट होगा, चाहे वो सर्विस है, उसके अंदर एक महारत हासिल करनी है, एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए. तो ये काफी ज्यादा चीजें होती हैं जो कि मुझे मेरी लाइफ में कुछ 26-27 का था मैं जब, तो वो एक लेवल पहुंच गया था कि मुझे लग रहा था यार इतना कुछ ही सीख लिया है, अब इस सबको कंबाइन करके लेट्स स्टार्ट अ सोलो जर्नी. और उसके बाद ऑफ कोर्स विद द रॉ इंटेलिजेंस वाला जो मैं पहले टॉक दे रहा था कि आप फिर सीखते जाते हो साथ साथ, बड़ी जल्दी जो चीज नहीं आती एक वीकेंड लगाओ उसको जल्दी से सीखो. But as an advocate of that, I am a big fan of people wanting to be alone entrepreneurs, and they can easily go, not easily, if they are 300% and all that
Determined.
mindset,
Yeah.
within 3 to 5 years you can hit $1 million business.
Thank you. Acha, okay, I also had one more. What are your views on Gary Vee? Do you follow?
I follow a lot, and I like this Gary Vee a lot more than the 2 years ago Gary Vee, because 2 years ago Gary Vee was बस hustle करो, बनाते जाओ, पागल हो जाओ. अभी का Gary
Yeah.
Vee है happiness, patience.
Yeah.
Happiness is the only variable that matters. तो मैं लोगों को कहता हूँ कि I have fun like it's my job to have fun. That is very important. Like choose things that are there and do those things because they are for you're doing it for fun, because you're enjoying that, because it's your job to have fun. जहां पे भी काम लगने लग जाएगा, वो आपकी नेचुरल पर्सनैलिटी का अलाइनमेंट खराब हो जाएगी उसके साथ. एंड ऑफ कोर्स अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स वी हैव टू डू फॉर द वर्क. जैसे वीडियो एडिटिंग मुझे करनी पड़ती है, तो मैं कोशिश करता हूँ मैं किसी को हायर कर लूँ जो वीडियो एडिटिंग करे, क्योंकि दैट्स नॉट फन फॉर मी. सो आई एम विद अभी का गैरी वी का वर्क बहुत अच्छा लगता है, विच इज लाइक पेशेंस. एंड जस्ट टू गिव यू अनदर एस्पेक्ट ऑल ऑफ यू ऑन पेशेंस, के आपने कोई भी जब जिंदगी में चीज सीखते हो, लेट्स से आपने सीखते भी क्या हो, कुछ भी करते हो, लेट्स से यूनिवर्सिटी की डिग्री आपको 4 साल में मिलती है, ठीक है, 4 साल आप यूनिवर्सिटी की डिग्री करते हो, जबकि वो जो एक्चुअल चीजें आप सीखते हो 4 साल की, वो मैं नहीं आर्ग्यू करूंगा कि उसको 4 साल लगने चाहिए, बट 4 साल आप लगाते हो. लेट्स अगर आपको क्रिकेट खेलनी नहीं आती एंड यू डिसाइड टू बिकम अ क्रिकेटर टुडे, आपको 3 से 4 साल लगेंगे टू बिकम अ गुड क्रिकेटर, जिसके अंदर आपकी स्टांस ठीक है, आपकी बॉलिंग एक्शन ठीक है, आपको फील्डिंग ठीक है, आपके रिफ्लेक्सेस ठीक है. 3 से 4 साल लगते हैं किसी भी एक चीज के अंदर अच्छा होने में. लेकिन जब लोग बिजनेस करते हैं फॉर सम रीजन, उनको 4 महीने में रिजल्ट चाहिए होता है. I can tell you today that the business is the hardest game in the world. This is the only game जिसके अंदर इतने ज़्यादा factors हैं that you have no idea that are out of your control. क्रिकेट के अंदर कितने ही factors हो जाएंगे जो आपकी कंट्रोल से बाहर है. आपने इतनी क्रिकेट खेली है, आपको पता है. इसी तरह यूनिवर्सिटी डिग्री के अंदर एक सिस्टम बना हुआ है, जो ऐसे करना है, बीच में कुछ चैलेंजेस आएंगे, कुछ मेंटल डिप्रेशन आएगा, स्ट्रेस आएगा, बस कर को क्या आप चले ही जाओगे 4 साल से. business is there's no mercy in this game. कोई पूरी दुनिया आपके खिलाफ है, everybody wants you to fail. It's actually the hardest actual game, hardest sport you can play. But if you're committed to play it for 3 to 4 years, you are gonna win it. You're gonna become good at it. So just have that patience mindset कि ये आज ऑनलाइन शुरू करने से 1 साल के अंदर कुछ नहीं होने वाला. 1 साल में तो सिर्फ सीखोगे कि गेम होती क्या है, या अगर प्रोडक्ट अगर डेवलप कर रहे हो और उसको मार्केट में लेके जा रहे हो, so 1-2 साल में तो you'll just understand कि इसकी डायनामिक्स क्या है. This is like any sport. You're playing the hardest sport in the world. You will become good at that in 3 to 4 years, but it takes time. So the only way to survive those 3 to 4 years is that you have fun doing 3 to 4 years. The only way to become a good cricketer is that every net session is fun for you. Because if it's a job to just go there and have cricket, then तो you're gonna just give up. 2 सर पे बॉल लगेंगी तेज बॉलर की और आप बैट छोड़ के भाग जाओगे. So it is, if you have fun playing cricket, that's the only way you can become good at cricket. Similarly, if you have fun doing what you're doing at the game of business, you will become good at that, but it will take 3 to 4 years. And it's much harder than getting a university degree. So university degree को 4 साल लगते हैं, तो इसको 4 साल तो at least दे दो.
Yeah, exactly. शुक्रिया वकास जी.
Not at all, buddy.
Okay, we have Rumeza.
Yeah, hello.
Hi, Rumeza.
Um, Thank you so much for giving your time for us. Okay, I have a question. Like, did you experience failure? And if so, what did you learn from that?
So macro failures होते हैं और micro failures होते हैं. Micro failure होता है साल में 50 दफा हो जाता है. Micro failure होता है आप एक कोर्स बनाते हो, आपने अपनी जिंदगी के 2-3 महीने लगाए हैं एक प्रोडक्ट बनाने के अंदर. That could be your minimum viable product, like MVP or digital product. You upload it and you're the $1,000, because if you were not working on that thing for that 3-4 months, that similar hours you could have spent anywhere and earned that much, and then you end up realizing that nobody buys it, or there is no demand for that. वो तो बहुत ज्यादा होते हैं साल के अंदर. लेकिन जो मैक्रो फेलियर्स हैं, that's like you saying कि आप किसी एक उसके लिए मैं what I call it more like a risk mitigation strategy. That I don't remember a single point in time where I was not working on more than 2 things that had kept me going. I'll tell you an example. As a third year student, I started a startup in Singapore called Sling Print. Sling Print was a crowdfunding merchandise printing startup. उस जमाने में बड़े चले हुए थे. वो टी स्प्रिंग यूएसए में हिट हुआ था. आई थिंक इंडिया में भी 1-2 थे जो कि काफी चल गए थे crowdfunding के. And I spent 2 years with my team. We developed the product. We did so much marketing and everything about that. And it was a complete failure. So I graduated from university after 4th year. और 4-6 महीने job नहीं ली. वो करते रहे, but that didn't work out. So eventually, of course, we had to shut down. Huge setback. Because third year से सोचा था कि यही मैंने आगे करना है, graduate होके. But at the same time, while I was doing that, उस प्रोसेस से कुछ स्किल सेट बन गए थे जिसके अंदर थे स्किल सेट ऑफ वेब डेवलपमेंट एंड स्किल सेट ऑफ कॉपी राइटिंग, स्किल सेट ऑफ जस्ट टॉकिंग टू पीपल. सो ऑन द साइड मैं अपना खर्चा पानी पूरा करने के लिए आई हैड अनदर वेबसाइट गोइंग ऑन कॉल्ड 27 आर्ट हाउस, जिसमें मैं रात को आफ्टर द वर्क आवर्स आई वाज डूइंग अदर थिंग्स. So I realized that the transition was actually pretty smooth. Like the day I call, like हमने decide किया है late 2014 के अंदर कि I'm not gonna do that work. But at the same time, by that month only, I was earning like $2,000-3,000, a very respectable, survivable income through my own stuff on the freelance. And pretty much that has gone through every stage in life. Like जब job चल, उसके बाद फिर अब ये हो रहा है side पे कर रहा हूँ और साथ job ले ली साथ, तो दोबारा से 2 चीजें हो गई कि दिन के टाइम जॉब करो, रात के टाइम अपना करो. फिर एक टाइम आया कि ये रात वाला छोड़ दिया और अपना ब्लॉग और सब कुछ डेवलप करना शुरू कर दिया, साथ जॉब चल ही रही थी. फिर एक टाइम आया कि जॉब छोड़ी लेकिन तब तक ये चल गया था. तो मैंने देखा कि मेरा तो सारा there's always 2 things going on. एक के अंदर जब खत्म हो जाता है तो दूसरा वाला शुरू हो जाता है. And that's what I think. एक दिन में टाइम इतना ज्यादा होता है, एक दिन की पूरी शिफ्ट होती है, फिर एक रात की पूरी शिफ्ट होती है. You kind of easily manage at least 2 careers with it. But having said that, now the point about what do I learn from micro failures mostly, or if you want to call it macro as well, it's that जो पूरा skill set है वो उसका होता है cumulative effect, कि वो आपके skill set ऐसे develop हो रहे होते हैं. वेबसाइट सीखी, वीडियो एडिटिंग सीखी, कॉपी राइटिंग सीखी, नेटवर्किंग सीखी, हर एक चीज के अंदर आपका एक स्किल सेट हो रहा होता है. फिर एक टाइम आता है कि वो पूरा उसका कम्युलेटिव इफेक्ट हो जाता है, वो एक्सपोनेंशियल चल जाता है, जैसे कि कोरोना वायरस एक्सपोनेंशियल हुआ है आजकल. ठीक है, वो फिर हर दूसरे दिन उसकी ग्रोथ रेट डबल हो जाता है. तो स्किल सेट में भी यही होता है. जब आपके पास कोई 8-10 स्किल्स एकदम से अलग अलग टाइम पे अलग अलग प्रोजेक्ट से आ जाते हैं, और जब वो 8-10 का मिक्स होता है तो जो चीज बनती है वो एक्सपोनेंशियल राइट पे होती है. सो इवेंचुअली इफ यू आर 20-ish year old, you can easily think of your life as a series of experiments for the next 5 years at least. Next 5 years, whatever you do, it should be branded as experiment. It should not be branded as my life's purpose or the thing I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. It's an experiment. I'm gonna do that. I am gonna give all in 300%. I'm gonna maximize my skills, my relationships, and I'm gonna understand how to make it successful. Because once it does not get successful, even if it does not get successful, I will graduate from it with so many skills and relationships and experience, which I'll take it to the next one and then the next one. छोटे छोटे मिनी एक्सपेरिमेंट्स किए 4-5 साल के बाद वो ऐसा उसका वो आप you cross a chasm that will make you grow exponentially, not like coronavirus exponentially but still exponentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We do have.
Where,
Okay, continue.
okay. When you got your idea, like how did you guess that was the correct idea? You got right idea at the right time.
वो तो मिथ है सारी कि आइडिया की आमद होती है and that there's a correct idea. It's everything that you do, it starts from a very core thing from inside you कि आप एक चीज कर ही रहे होते हो, उसके अंदर फिर आप थोड़ा थोड़ा जैसे आप कोई किसी चीज में इंटरेस्टेड हो and you're good at that and then you keep doing it, तो उसके अंदर ही you'll start से ठीक है यार मैं इस चीज को 10% बेहतर कर सकता हूँ, फिर आप वो 10% बेहतर करने लग जाते हो, फिर आप किसी और चीज को 10% बेहतर करने लग जाते हो, वो तो फिर it is such a slow organic transition to your actual thing कि वो आप you don't even feel like that कि I have कि there's an idea out there. And I mean for some of you guys who will end up developing, let's say something which the world has never seen and it's like so tech and innovative, so that might be a situation where you will feel like it's a great idea. But from what I know, and I have role model like Elon Musk, let's say he has SpaceX and Tesla electric cars, and if you've read his biography, Elon Musk, these are not ideas, these are just process improvements on what was already existing. So SpaceX is like, okay, rocket की price बहुत महंगी है यार, मैं 10% कॉस्ट कहाँ से कम करूं, 10% फ्यूल एफिशिएंसी कहाँ से बनाऊं, वो करते 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 एक पूरा नया ब्रांड बन जाता है SpaceX, which is like one of the most innovative. सिमिलरली इलेक्ट्रिक कार्स हैं, बैटरी की स्टोरेज कैपेसिटी कम है, बैटरी की प्रोडक्शन कॉस्ट ज्यादा है, चार्जिंग स्टेशन कम है, ये करना है वो करना है, इसको 10% बेहतर करो, 20% इसको बेहतर करो, करते करते टेस्ला becomes a full new brand. Same for the Facebook, how it makes MySpace and Friendster थोड़ा थोड़ा बेहतर, प्राइवेसी कैसे लेके आनी है, ये कैसे करना है. तो जो सारे आपको जो बड़े आइडियाज होते हैं, ये एग्जिस्टिंग चीजों पे थोड़ी थोड़ी इंप्रूवमेंट होती है, वो तो ओवर द क्यूमुलेटिव लॉन्ग टर्म वो इतनी ज्यादा चीजें इंप्रूव हो चुकी होती हैं कि वो एक सेल्फ बिकम्स लाइक वाह क्या आइडिया था. So don't even think about that. It's a myth that you will get an idea. You just, whatever you're interested in and you have a skill set and you can make that thing better, faster, efficient. The Snapchat came out of Facebook because Facebook की messaging के अंदर disappearing नहीं था, तो Snapchat वाले ने एक feature अलग किया कि मैं disappear करवाने हैं messages, तो वो पूरा एक नया idea शुरू हो जाती है again. So you don't think, nobody thinks of these as ideas. They are just process improvements.
Okay. Like recently we started working for on a company. Me and we have a team. So like we are telling each other like कि अब हम first year के हैं ना, तो अभी इतना जल्दी why we are working. So what do you like to advise for us? Like अभी से start करना, we should wait for it.
You should do it. This is the actual university education. जो classes में पढ़ना है वो नहीं होगी education. वो degree है. कुछ नहीं सिखाएगी. कुछ भी नहीं. जो कुछ सीखना है वो सारा कोर्सेरा पे, येल ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी में, MIT ओपन कोर्सेज में सारा पढ़ा हुआ है, बेहतर पढ़ा हुआ है जो यूनिवर्सिटीज में सिखाया जाता है. कोर्सेज लेने हैं तो वहां से ले लो. यूनिवर्सिटी इज ओनली द प्लेस to work with other people on ideas, projects, testing. This 4 years is the only 4 years where you're gonna get a field where you are where you can just experiment and you can work with people and nobody's expecting any money from you and nobody is expecting you to make $1 million. जब आप ग्रेजुएट हो जाओगे तो यही सारे लोग जो अभी आपके साथ काम कर रहे हैं अपनी अपनी जॉब्स कर रहे होंगे सारे, और you will find it's so difficult to find people who are able to work with you on projects and ideas. And then and even if you want to, everybody will be like returns कितनी देर में आएंगे, पैसा कब बनेगा, देखो मैंने जॉब छोड़नी है तो ये होगा वो होगा. Then it's like it's a difficult battle after that. ये 4 साल is like that playground. जितने मर्जी projects बनाओ और सिर्फ projects ही पे काम करो, entrepreneurship ideas पे काम करो. कोर्सेज लेने हैं तो वो बाद में रात को ऑनलाइन भी लिए जा सकते हैं और ग्रेजुएशन के बाद भी ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी से पढ़ लिया जाता है, बट डिग्री लेनी है यूनिवर्सिटी की, वो ठीक है.
Thank you so much.
Okay. On to Fawaz Ali.
Heman, take over.
Yes, Fawaz. Okay, sorry, I have muted you again.
Uh, Hello. I just have two questions. After listening to you, I was like, you are the right person to ask it, and like you have been through a lot of this, and I think I can ask you these two questions. I have one of the my main questions is we have tons of ideas. Our team has tons of ideas, and we want to work on a single task, not just on a single like we have two ideas that are not related to the other ideas. We have business models, but we cannot execute that idea. So, what do you suggest? Should we work on n number of
demand ज़्यादा है, or a lot of things people are find good to have, but a lot of things people are like यार इसके बगैर तो गुजारा ही नहीं होगा. So choose the one जिसके बगैर गुजारा ही नहीं होगा, because it's good to have an early win in your profile, uh, then before you work on maybe something that will change the world, or something that you want to work like have multiple companies with different products. That early win will give you experience, will give you confidence, and even if it's not like a huge, and take them to whatever website you want to take them to. So it's like you online app test kar lete ho, and if it's actually you won't be shouldn't be able to share it right now because I don't know, there's a privacy thing.
Waqas bhai, extremely sorry to interrupt you, but you were just muted for 2 minutes. Can you just repeat the last few
Okay.
sentences?
So do you remember what was the last thing that was unmuted?
Wait. I'll ask Fawaz actually. My net is kind of disturbing me right now. I'll ask the person who asked the question to you. Yes, Fawaz.
yes, Waqas bhai, just another thing that did you in your life have multiple ideas and you thought about working on those, or just you are focused on one?
So back in the days when I was in university, there were tons and tons of things that were floating around all the time. So let's say if I have to give you three that we were thinking of at the same time, because I was also part of the entrepreneurship society and president for another society called entreprenuers, which is these ASEAN countries, 10 ASEAN countries, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, etc. उन सबकी एक स्टूडेंट सोसाइटी थी entrepreneurs. तो भाई आपका उसका प्रेसिडेंट था एक टाइम पे, तो हर वक्त यही कुछ चल रहा होता था कि एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप आइडियाज. तो एक टाइम पे ये क्राउड फंडिंग का तो मैंने जिक्र किया. इसके अलावा एक था आइडिया travel50.com, which was like a travel website, like a Fiverr website but for travel, कि you can rent or get anything done related to travel for $50. So you can rent someone's camera for $50. You can rent someone's car for $50. You can rent someone's camping gear for $50. So everything is available for $50, and it's like a marketplace. And then there was this called Bon Appetit, which was like how to describe it. It's more like meal sharing thing that like Airbnb का भी एक feature है. Airbnb experiences, you can dine in with locals when you're visiting their city. Locals can put up, ठीक है, हैदराबाद के अंदर I'm offering $30 for an authentic dinner of Hyderabadi biryani at my experience, and travelers can take that and dine in with you. But we were thinking about that in 2013-14 जब Airbnb का नहीं था ये. Okay, how about like have something like this shared dining experiences. So that's a good state to be in, that you have a lot of things to be working on. We ended up choosing crowdfunding because product market fit, कि उस वक्त का जो product market fit था कि कौन सा product के लिए there's already human behavior develop हो गया है और उनका human behavior हमें change नहीं करना पड़ेगा कि वो क्योंकि so there's some ideas जहाँ पे लोग अभी ही use करने को तैयार हैं, you just have to give them a great product, and then there are some things that people are not used to doing and you have to change their human behavior. So go with the one that is that जहाँ पे human behavior नहीं change करना पड़ेगा और उसका अभी आप मतलब आज लेके जाओ किसी के पास तो आपको पैसे देने के लिए तैयार होगा. But work on one. And the reason we failed was, as you guys will experience in your life as well, कि जब आप graduate हो जाते हो फिर आपके पास टाइम बॉम्ब चलना शुरू हो जाता है कि अगर 6 महीने में पैसे ना बने तो फिर टीम इधर जाने लग जाएगी. सबसे पहले हमारा आईटी गाय गया, मैं जॉब करने जा रहा हूँ, फिर so on and so forth happen. So that will also happen with you guys. That team will start after graduation. People will not be committed that much. So it's good to have a early success as if you can in your university life.
Yes, for us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. So we have a lot of
Uh,
questions lined up. Yeah, continue first. Okay. People are very enthusiastic to talk to you actually. Let me just unmute this guy. Unmute. Yes, Wasim.
Yeah, Assalamualaikum, bhai. I wanted to ask you, how do you manage between the risk of doing something new, like a new project, and getting the idea that this is what I want to do? Like, how do you manage the risk between doing something just for the sake of doing it and actually taking up that thing as a profession?
Yeah, interesting thing. The way I have, especially now that after graduation, the way I see my life is that I do everything which I can already strategically plan how in 2 to 3 years I'm gonna monetize it. So, for example, everything I have done on Instagram since 2018, it's free. My YouTube channel, it's all free. Everything is free. There are long courses, long stuff, but it's free because I've already planned in 2018 how I'm going to monetize it later in the future. When the later is going to come, I don't know as well. Might be this year, might be later next year, but they all these things are feeding into a business model. So I love doing things when I'm able to plan a 5 year trajectory of that thing. That is also one of the reasons that I only create content and do things that I know will have a 10 year uh, long tail, that it's not a viral content. I'll never be talking about anything that's in the current news or current affairs and etc. because I want to only focus on the things that actually add value for the next 10 years. So I would say that I have, and I still choose a lot of things that have current high monetary value, and that I pursue that as a business. But if there are things that I'm really interested in and I have a lot of fun doing that, I always do that thing. But I just, for my motivation as well, I do it with the mindset how, after making a long strategic plan of 3 to 5 years of how I'm going to make a business out of it as well. Uh, and and that is to say, not necessarily I'll end up making a business out of it, but having that 5 year roadmap in my head makes it more fun when I'm starting. So Instagram was so much fun in 2018, and because I had this like long 5 year plan, I might be following, might not be following it. Because of that, from the day one, it was fun. It was I was enthusiastic about it, and I've done it in a very different way than most people do who want to quickly make it money out of it. It's very different game when you play that. So I'll say it's good to balance. You can't just do things for fun, and if there's like monetary reward is like 3 to 5 years later, do if there's something that is, is a more market needs it right now, they're willing to pay, the idea works, choose that as well. And if you are in the early stage, choose that as, let's say, the major, the 70% component of your life, and the less 30% is something more fun with a long outlay, long plan of how to monetize it much into the future.
Yes. Thank you.
To give you a real example, australiayours.com is my brand, australiayours.com. It's about $150,000 a year brand at the moment in terms of its revenue. But I am not, Australia Yours is not something that I would be doing if I would be starting today where I am with this. I started in 2017. Of course, I left my job. I didn't have money. So I chose that because I knew I can develop it into a bigger market needs it right now. It's going to make money early. So I chose that. I did that and I built that into a successful business. But I would not be doing it today given the monetary situation. So I've done that, and I've personally chosen something that is more for the money, keeping in the skill set that I am good at. So it's still digital, it's still online education, it's still online training, and all the game. I still like the game. I don't like the idea, but I like the game. But then I did this all personal development stuff and speaking and YouTube, all that stuff, more for the fun. It is still going for the fun with a 3 to 5 year mindset of how it's going to develop into a business model. So yeah, I think I'll again wrap up with the same thing, that we have enough time to have 2 full-time careers in our life. That was true when I was 20 years old. That was true when I was 25. That's true when I'm 30. I still feel like we have time to have 2 full-time careers.
Yes. Ubaidullah, please, can you ask the question?
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, Waqas. This is Ubaid. First of all, thanks for such an amazing seminar. Secondly, coming to my question, आपने शुरू में अपनी journey की बात की थी that where you were years back and where you are right now. So I'm guessing that there might be a lot of challenges and setbacks. My question is, how did you handle all of those all these years now?
Yeah, I'll tell you how big, just to give you the scale of challenges. And probably if you're not in job, you won't realize it. But when I left my job in 2017 and I moved to Australia from Singapore, that was a new country. And I left the job in February and I didn't earn anything until Jan of 2018. So February 2017 or Jan 2018. And this is when I've moved to a completely new country. So the level of, there's a lot of challenges going on. The level number challenge, the basic level, ठीक है, किराया कहाँ से देना है, खाना कहाँ से खाना है, जो कि आपका बेसिक लेवल होता है. उसके ऊपर वाला लेवल होता है कि यार ये जो बाकी सारे आपके दोस्त हैं जो कि 3 साल से आपके साथ काम कर रहे थे, वो तो इस साल भी काम कर रहे हैं. पीयर प्रेशर बढ़ना शुरू हो जाता है कि वो उनकी जॉब में उनका 10% एनुअल इंक्रीज हो ही रहा है, आप जीरो पे बैठे हुए हो. यू आर ट्राइंग टू मतलब दिस आई विल फाइंड दिस जॉब लाइफ में इतना ज्यादा पीयर प्रेशर आया होता है. सो फिर और लेवल होता है, वो लेवल में होता है कि आप लाइक पीपल स्टार्ट सेल्फ डाउटिंग देमसेल्फ, अगर मैं इसमें फेल हो गया फिर क्या होगा. इतने लोगों को झूठ बोल के अपने सब कुछ कर करके कि मैं कर दूंगा, आप आपने पता पेरेंट्स से कि सर्टेन एक्सपेक्टेशंस हैं ये वो. सो ये बहुत ज्यादा लेवल्स पे आपको स्ट्रेस आएगा. और ये जो मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ कि खाना कहाँ से खाना है और किराया कहाँ से देना है, दिस इज लाइक आई स्टिल कॉल इट द बेसिक. लाइक ये तो यहाँ से तो स्टार्ट होता है लेवल of challenges. ये उसके बाद expectation and peer pressure और ये कहाँ कहाँ जा रहा होता है. So I'll tell you one thing about having a self-belief, that once you know that you have this unbelievable amount of optimism and self-belief in yourself, कि whatever the world is thinking, I will make it. I know. And you're like, it starts with a lot of mental talk as well. But if you don't have to do mental talk and it kind of becomes part of your personality, that's the stage you want to be in. Agar abhi nahi hai, so start developing it. Kyunki I realized that I had it even before I left my job. That I knew कि इनको कुछ नहीं पता, ये दुनिया वालों को कुछ नहीं पता. I have this unbelievable optimism and self-belief that I'll make it. And that self-belief goes in with a full understanding of that it's a game of skill and experience. It's not a game of chance. Which means कि अगर आप ये self-belief में यार मैं ये करता रहूँगा तो result आ जाएगा, नहीं, वो game of chance है. The actual thing is ये मैं करूँगा, ना हुआ तो मैं analyze करूँगा कि क्या गलतियाँ थी, and फिर I'll develop a certain skill set and then I'll go the step 2. So it's actually this self belief है कि मैं ये कर दूंगा. लेकिन जब वो जो पूरी जर्नी है उसके अंदर ये पता है कि this is not luck, this is just a product of experiences and skills and analysis. क्योंकि वो जितना तेज आप करते जाओगे at every stage in life कि ये नहीं चला क्यों नहीं चला, अगर चला तो इसको और कैसे बेहतर करना है, a lot of self analysis, a lot of skills, तो वो eventually you will hit that. So ये तो सबसे बड़ा है कि you have to have that unbelievable self belief in yourself to go through these challenges. And the second is that I'm telling you even today that 2017 was the happiest year of my life until 2017. Like 2015-16 के अंदर एक certain paycheck आ रहा था, एक certain job थी, लेकिन उसमें unhappiness ज़्यादा थी क्योंकि मुझे fear of certainty है, जैसे शुरू में बताया. So that 2017 के अंदर, because I had broken the constraints of authority कि कोई boss नहीं है, constraint of location कि मैं एक जगह पे नहीं रह सकता, मैं जहाँ मर्जी रह सकता हूँ, constraint of time कि मुझे 9 से 5 नहीं जॉब करनी, मुझे रात को दिल कर रहा है तो मैं रात को करूँगा, अब 22 घंटे काम करने का दिल कर रहा है तो 22 घंटे करूँगा, जिस दिन 1 घंटा भी नहीं कर रहा दिल 1 घंटा भी नहीं करूँगा. फिर so yeah, basically constraint of team, people, that I am not dependent on other people for my success. Like जॉब में तो वो पूरा एक सारे मिलके काम कर रहे होते हैं, आपके बॉस कितनी ज्यादा से होती है, टीम मेंबर्स की होती है. तो when I had broken these constraints consisted of time, location, team and authority, I was happiest. तो उसके बाद क्योंकि वो इतनी ज्यादा खुशी थी, there was like मजा आ रहा था uncertainty के अंदर, 2017 के अंदर. तो although ये जो stresses थे वो manageable थे because the happiness was too much. And my messages of that time in the WhatsApp with my friends, they are very happy. It was like pretty good time. And I didn't have a like, ठीक है मेरा दिल था कि 6 महीने के अंदर ही से रेवेन्यू आना शुरू हो जाए, लेकिन 11 महीने लगे थे फरवरी से अगले जनवरी तक बिफोर रेवेन्यू स्टार्ट्स पॉपिंग अप. और जो पहला रेवेन्यू आया था वो $1800 ही था खाली, इतना भी ज्यादा नहीं था, लेकिन पता था कि चल गया काम, कि अब 1800 आ गया है, उसका 18000 भी कर लेंगे, इतना कोई बड़ा मसला नहीं है. लेकिन वहां तक पहुंचने में एक मजा आया था, मजा था फियर ऑफ मजा था बीइंग इन द अनसर्टेन स्टेट एंड ब्रेकिंग कंस्ट्रेंट्स, और एक सेल्फ बिलीफ था कि इट्स नॉट अ गेम ऑफ चांस, it's a game of skills and analysis and learning, and the faster you do that, the faster you're going to be successful. तो ये बड़ा important है, इसमें कोई अपने आप को धोखा नहीं देना, झूठ नहीं बोलना अपने आप से कि बस आंखें बंद करो करते जाओ तो मैं सक्सेसफुल हो जाऊंगा, ऐसे नहीं होगा. ये बड़ा कोई इसमें लक नहीं होती, इसमें बड़ा ज्यादा फीडबैक होता है अपने अंदर कि एनालिसिस करते जाना है, सीखते जाना है अपनी फेलियर से.
Yes, I think that will be it. Last chance for anybody who is willing to ask any questions or ready to interact.
तो किसी ने लिखा है $1800 कम नहीं है यार. ये ऑस्ट्रेलिया के अंदर ना, यहाँ पे ये जहाँ पे मैं बैठा हूँ स्टूडियो के अंदर, ये इधर जो कैलकुलेशन है ना फर्क चलती है. यहाँ पे रेंट और खाना पीना $2500 है महीने का. तो सारे फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड कंट्रीज में, अमेरिका में, कनाडा में, सिंगापुर में, तो यहाँ पे जॉब भी फिर आपकी $3500-4000 से शुरू होती है. तो जब मैंने जॉब छोड़ी थी वो 6000 पे थी, और एज इन दैट्स नॉट हाई. जब जो लोग फेसबुक वगैरह पे काम कर रहे हैं उनकी $10,000 पे होती है, क्योंकि खर्चा भी उस हिसाब से है, $3-4 तो खर्चा है रहने का. सो वो उसके हिसाब से आपने अपने हिसाब से देखना है. तो 1800 का मतलब क्या, बिल्कुल आप सर्वाइव कर रहे हो.
Okay. Mohammed Shoaib. Yes, Mohammed Shoaib.
Hey Waqas, I had two questions for you. I hope you can answer them. And I honestly liked this, this session that I got to know about your life choices and everything. That was very nice. So my question is, you have said that you should always have this sort of two things going on that you're working on, right? On the day, subah mein ye kaam karo, shaam mein piche. So what I want to ask is, how do you choose those two things? Because one thing you're going to have to focus more than the other thing. And how do you keep this balance, and how do you, any one of those things can go successful or they could fail. So how do you decide what?
Yeah, so firstly, if you're in university, you anyways have this second thing of studying for the exams and everything going on. So I am telling this where I'm sitting now. When I was in university between 2010 to 2014, so I think main university इतना time ले जाती थी कि हर इतना तो possible नहीं है कि आप you having two things on top of your education. वो after that ज़्यादा हो जाता है. लेकिन anyways, even if you are choosing two, जिसका प्रोडक्ट मार्केट फिट ज्यादा है, that becomes your more important. By product market fit I mean कि जो भी प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस है उसके लिए मार्केट ऑलरेडी राइप है, मार्केट अभी तैयार है वो आपसे लेने के लिए. उनको कोई ह्यूमन बिहेवियर अपना चेंज नहीं करना, they are consuming it in an offline method that you're making it online, so on and so forth, ताकि वो it's like it's an easier, the growth is easy. And then if the other one that you want to focus less on, that's like this new age business model. आपको कोई ऐसी चीज चाहिए जो आपको लगता है कि it will make people's life better, but people don't think it yet that it's going to make their life better. So usko it's that usually takes a longer time to work. That's how I have chosen, by the way. Everything that I do is like Australia yours as a product market fit, and this internet entrepreneurship, digital nomad, teaching people how to build their personal brand and online businesses. ये पूरी जो दुनिया थी, ये it's not very, there's a very small market for that, but it's fun, so I do it. So I would say that just find a test or use whatever testing strategies they teach you in your university to find out जिसका product market fit ज़्यादा है, जिसका पैसा जल्दी आएगा. I'm gonna say it again that you need to have an early win in your portfolio to feel confident to go all in your more riskier more riskier, bigger or more disruptive idea. It's important to have an early win.
Thank you, Waqas. Thank you. Thank you. I have one more question. How do you decide what people you are compatible with? Because sometimes, you meet someone that is really good at something, and he's very invested in what he's doing, and he's great at what he's doing, but you're not compatible with him. How do you choose the people you're with if you're working in a group?
I would go with the same thing that I said first, that it's for me it's very important that it's the three variables: raw intelligence, work ethic, and thinking big and strategic quality. I would choose someone who has two of them different from my two. So I have actually, like for example, I've partnered with this lady in Seattle, Microsoft. She is a senior AI engineer for the next product we are working on. So she's working from there, I'm working from here, but yeah, we are trying to make it work until we get into similar geography. But she has these two things different from my two things, so it's very important for me to have that. That what are the two qualities you have between raw intelligence, work ethic, and thinking big and strategic, and the other person should have two different from you. This is like from the professional side, and from the personal side it's the same taste buds, buddy. It's really, if you follow BJP and the other follows Congress, it's not gonna work. If you like a certain thing, the other person likes certain, it's not gonna work. Make sure that this basic taste buds, things that you are emotionally invested in, they are similar. Long term में मसला हो जाता है इन चीजों से. तो एक तरह का जो टेस्ट बड्स हैं कि लॉन्ग टर्म में आप लोगों के वो चेंज हो जाते हैं. बट ये मतलब थोड़ा पर्सनल लेवल पे था, लेकिन प्रोफेशनल लेवल पे it has to be the big things.
Yes. So I think that's it from the audience, the questions. Okay. Waqas bhai, thank you so much. Thank you so much for it. Yeah. It was wonderful. Actually, we needed this because, we just started on this entrepreneurship thing, and we needed someone really solid who is in the field to, just guide us a little bit. I mean, we do have a mentor here who is 24/7 back of us, do this, do that, programs karo, certificates lao, do this, product karo, product pe uske prototypes banao, paper prototype and all. So we needed a broader vision. Thank you so much for that. It was lovely having you.
And I've seen how this game plays out. I'm very confident that so many of this breed of, let's say, 50 people who are there in chat are going to be successful entrepreneurs. We have seen this happen time and again in the last 10 years, that people who are in this entrepreneurship cells or student societies, and they are investing in today's world, they end up, some of them, like 20-30% of them do end up becoming serial entrepreneurs in the future, going forward.
Yeah, hopefully.
And for anyone, if you want to, anyways, ask something or get in touch, it's Instagram for messages, and YouTube for big videos on internet entrepreneurship and developing your personal brand and so on and so forth.
Yeah, surely. But the whole college might be knowing about you because this was an amazing session, very interactive, I would say. Amazing, just amazing. All my questions have been answered in the talk that you were talking about mindset and productivity. Yeah. That was something we needed. I would really like to thank you for this.
Not at all. This is too much fun, and I'm happy that, again, as I said, that I'm really happy in this Corona shutdown as well, although business is like not operating, because it's just too much fun to discover these new things. I'm telling
exactly
you,
right. I've been doing Photoshop since 6 years now. I have known in this past few days that I can do graphic designing. Started early. So this is
man, and I'm 2017 say I'm doing what I'm doing in terms of my speaking and work career, but I've never, reached out to these webinars and this is amazing. This is good life.
Yeah. It was just amazing how you replied to my comment there. I'm
you had a comment. Why do I not think about these things? And then I message you, and it just turned out to be such a good chat session.
Yeah, I'm still in shock. I've been following you since the I would say maybe the 30th episode of the 1 Minute Show, where I have learned quite a lot from you, and used it in my real life. जब भी speeches देता हूँ, in front of audience, I give some key points. Now I have some amazing key points written down from this webinar as well that I would love to share.
Run away with them. Run away with them.
Hopefully, I'll also inspire people like you. Maybe get to work with you in the future. That'd be just a dream come true.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for this, Vibshan.
Thank you so much for joining all you guys and asking questions. It was so good to just connect this informal basis and just have a fun chat. And take care and have a good day. Stay safe. Stay indoors. Only about a month more, hopefully.